North Korean Benidorm.
Edinburgh Cringe.
And a little less conversation, a little more AI slop.
All this and more on this week's episode of News Sensation.
Hello and welcome to News Sensation, the news podcast that's pushing boundaries. And I don't mean boundaries in terms of Jubilee this week having the worst fascists you've ever seen on YouTube, or the Nelk boys hosting Netanyahu. We're pushing international boundaries. Matty, where are you this week?
I am currently in Cap Ferret, the beautiful tip of the sort of Bordeaux flank of France. It's a very sunny day, as you can very clearly see from my camera. And because I'm so dedicated to the cause and without any complaints or pushback or any arguments at all, really, I've decided to continue this show in spite of my international travels.
Yeah, he
Where are
heard about
you,
the French
Chris?
bee attack. He had to he had to go over there and find out for himself. No,
I
I'm
had to
holding
find
down
out
the
more from the
fort.
scene. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we got a packed show for you today. So if you've not tuned in before, New Sensation, we take kind of a sideways look at the funniest, strangest stories in the week's news. And God, there's a lot this week.
There really is. I mean, although the biggest news is the fact that I rode a bicycle this week.
Yeah, they say you never forget how, but I mean, you tell the
You
viewers.
can. No, famously amongst my sort of amongst my Matalites, as my friends refer to them, can't ride a bike for anything. Haven't ridden one in about 10 years. The only thing related to me and a bike since I last rode one was when my bike was nicked about 4 years ago. We got it back, and for a brief second, my whole family thought, "Is it bad that we even bothered to get this bike back? He doesn't even use it." So
Yeah,
I had completely forgotten how to ride a bike. But fortunately, the roads are quiet here. So until you get to the traffic junctions where it's a lot of very rich French people who can't drive or anything, it's fairly safe to learn how to ride again. But yeah, time waits for no man, and neither does my best friend on a bike. So I've had to learn quick.
well, it's fair to say that I've got a good bit of holiday envy. I'm sure our viewers do, looking at that beautiful backdrop behind you. But I
And
think,
looking at this beautiful mug as well. But
oh well, of course, I think I'm going to do something about it this summer. I think I'm going to go to the latest new beach resort that's been set up. Well, that's until I heard they'd shut it to foreigners. So Kim Jong-un's new beach resort in North Korea has shut to foreigners less than a month after opening. Yes, this is the Wonsan Kalma Coastal Tourist Zone, a name that just screams fun. Um, and it's a key part of North Korean leader and Onion newspaper's Sexiest Man Alive 2012, Kim Jong-un's ambitions to boost tourism. So, in the
I mean, hang on. First of all, before we go anywhere, boost tourism as if they've been actively trying to have any tourism at
yeah,
all for the last 75 years.
it's very much like Kim Jong-un's battle with himself. Like, clearly a part of him hates tourists, a part of him kind of
Wait,
wants the
how can
money.
we boost tourism? Do we let the foreigners in? No, no, we need a water park.
Yeah, we want the yuans and the rubles, but I really hate other people. He's just a classic introvert.
Classic introvert, classic introvert.
In the lead up to the opening of the coastal tourist zone, North Korea publicized the resort as a world-class tourist and cultural destination and a national treasure level tourism city. Which I mean, you don't need to look any further than the blockade of Wonsan, the longest naval blockade in history, to find the rich culture of this place. It's really, it screams Jet 2 holiday, doesn't it?
Darling, hold my hand indeed.
It's been called the North Korean Benidorm, which it might sound like a bit of a lazy comparison, but actually, in 2017, Kim Jong-un dispatched a delegation of 20 men to Benidorm to
No.
study, yeah, to study their marinas, high-rise hotels, and theme parks. The delegation, they went all around Spain. They went to Barcelona as well. They reportedly weren't,
That makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah,
Barcelona makes sense. Benidorm,
they
that's
weren't
the gold
interested in
standard.
Barcelona. They were kind of bored with the Sagrada Familia and the cultural landmarks. What they really liked was there was a theme park that took inspiration from ancient civilizations. And they were like, yes, we could do the same thing in Wonsan, but with ancient Korean civilization. Get these guys to Epcot, is all I'm saying.
That does like as a concept, that does sound kind of sick. To be fair to them,
It is a cool concept. I
it
mean,
is a cool concept. But I want to know more about the actual water park they built in North Korea.
yeah, no, we've got plenty of photos coming up. Russian ambassadors attended the completion ceremony on the 24th of June, and the resort was officially opened on the 1st of this month, 6 years after it was due to be completed. But better late than never. And when the resort opened, Kim Jong-un was seen relaxing poolside next to his daughter. We've got a photo here. We'll link it in the show notes. And his daughter and presumed heir Kim Ju-ae with a cold drink, a towel, and a pack of cigarettes. It's just
Proper dad on holiday. It's
proper
just
geezer. Get this guy behind the wheel. And
get this man his car keys.
if you look in the background, you can see a guy flying off the water slide as he watches. I think you'll be sent to a labor camp for that form.
No, I think there's got to be some credit. Like if he's going full dad on holiday, he's got to watch that and go, "Oh, nice one, lads!" Right, and sit back in his chair. You
Isn't
can't
that
send him to a
all?
labor camp for a belly flop.
Isn't that all that men really want? They want to be sat with their daughter and presumed heir with a cold one, some ciggies, at a water park that they've built. Isn't that the ideal?
And heckling the people going down the water slides. Yeah,
Yeah. So last week, the first Russian tourists reportedly arrived at a resort in Wonsan, around the same time that Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met Kim in the city. Lavrov said it was a good tourist attraction and he hoped it would become popular among Russians. And also, the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova told Sputnik Radio that the resort had
sick.
perfectly equipped facilities. All these descriptions sound like they're coming from A, aliens, and B, people who've never seen a water park. Like, yeah, I
So,
too.
did you think they have many raw parks in Russia that the Ministry of like Culture and Foreign Affairs are going to? Like, what are we
I
talking about?
I'd be really intrigued to find that out. I'm sure they have perfectly equipped facilities if they do.
There certainly is water parks in Russia. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong here. I'm not Chris making obtuse statements on this podcast and having to go back and delete them. What I'm saying is,
Wait, wait, wait. Let's run down the time.
but no, what I'm saying
Yeah.
is I don't think I'm unlikely to see the Minister of Foreign Affairs just sort of going down death spiral too at the Volgograd in Russian water park.
It was because you never go there when I ask you. You never want to be my plus one. Russian media said that the beach was largely deserted during Lavrov's visit, which is a shame, despite the presence of locals who were pretending to be tourists. It's like staging a lovely scene. After and at all
Yeah.
protected, all
They,
that.
they, had, they had to find their fattest and most sunburned North Korean.
Yeah, the drumstick squashy of North Koreans. According to North Korean state media, the first group of 15 Russian tourists arrived at the resort earlier this month, and Russian tour guides have planned several more trips to the region over the next few months. Is a water park trip with just 15 people really good or really dead? I can't
Really
tell.
dead. Really dead. If
15
you've
of
got a
your
whole
closest
water
friends.
park,
Yeah, but
if it's 15
yeah,
of your closest friends, sure. But if you've got a whole water park and there's just 15 of you,
you have the
like,
you have the run of the place.
yeah, but it's going to be so quiet and eerie and kind of
Very true,
odd.
yeah.
You're going to feel uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, now foreigners have been banned from attending with no explanation. It's going to be even quieter, I think.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's just shut the resort down to foreign tourism less than a month after opening and not said why. Um, so what exactly is Wonsan like? I'm sure you're wondering as you pack your bag.
Desperately.
Yeah, it's on the east coast of North Korea. It's home to missile facilities, and it's also where Kim spent much of his childhood among luxury holiday villas belonging to the country's elites. Now, the new seaside resort has lined 4 kilometers of its beachfront with hotels, restaurants, shopping malls, and this water park. State media say the water park's got a 20,000 strong capacity. Here's a picture of the beachfront. If you can see, it's got freakishly well-ordered umbrellas on the beach, which I think is the first sign.
Yeah,
Yeah, it literally
that
looks like an
that
area.
is unnerving.
If you've seen the North Korean army marching, it's literally. It looks similar.
It's not quite Copacabana, is it?
No, it's yeah the hottest spot north of north of Wonsan. Um, there's also these photos from state media. So the first photo, there's a single kid on the left in a pair of swimming trunks, and an entire delegation of people in suits on the other side.
It's so good. It's
I'd be
so good. It's so
mortified.
bleak.
Imagine your
It
trunks coming
looks,
off in front of the whole of the North Korean cabinet.
to be fair, it looks like Margate. It's just an overcast, like ugly communist style buildings. Like
Yeah, to
this
be
is
fair,
most British seaside resorts.
I think people think of East Asia in kind of like a tropical climate, and a lot of it is, but also loads of North Korean photos look like the UK.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's that 50s socialist architecture that like kind of was like this is going to be sick, guys. It's going to be the cities of the future. Now we look at them and go, this is most devastatingly grim.
You hear that, guys? This is what woke architecture's brought you, this water park.
No, right, okay, well that's,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm
And
saying.
there's another photo below it as well, which actually looks like it was taken at Total Fitness, which is Kim
It
Jong-un
does.
strolling along just looking at the pool.
It actually looks staggeringly like I stayed at this B&B in Wales when I was a kid, and it looks like the tiny little indoor pool they had behind it. Like it's uncanny. Maybe Kim Jong Un took a slight detour to North Wales
I
in
tell
his
you what,
expedition.
I bet in North Korea, the toggles and the pool floats don't have bites taken out of them because
Oh, that's
they lay
true.
down the law over there. Um, so they began building the resort in 2018, and it caused protests from human rights groups about worker mistreatment, which is probably not
Ah, yeah, no,
surprising for North Korea.
look,
From
if that's going to happen for the World Cup, it's going to happen for a water park. You know, it's
exactly,
just come see, come say. You know,
the UN human rights chief has called life in North Korea a stifling, claustrophobic environment where life is a daily struggle devoid of hope.
so it's a good thing there's now a water park, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Seems the ideal place to
I
finally
see
put a water
problem, I
park.
give you solution.
Yeah, yeah.
But satellite imagery suggests that it's not even finished yet. So one of the largest buildings at the resort is unopened, and the rooftop pool has no water in it, which makes it good for pushing dissenters into, I think.
The killing pools, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So before we were saying North Korea, not tourist friendly, was probably not surprising, because back in February, North Korea started letting Western tourists in for the first time in 5 years, but then banned them without explanation. And international tour guides are disappointed, including Rowan Beard, who was a tour guide the BBC spoke to, who said, "I was hoping this might signal a broader reopening to international tourism." He's the founder of Young Pioneer Tours, and their brand is taking tour groups to destinations that your mother would rather you stay away from, including Fukushima nuclear power plants and I quote, women's tour of Afghanistan.
Oh my God. No, no.
I noticed there's no Gambian granny tour.
Well, I mean, your mother can't be a hypocrite, you know.
Oh, yeah, exactly. She probably. Yeah. Well, but without foreign currency flowing in, experts reckon that one San Calma coastal tourist zone will be forced to shut down.
That one
But
sentence really got you good. That was
it really, yeah, that sentence.
you were just so depressed at the thought of one Son Calma coastal tourist zone being shut down that you had to kind of like
I
you were
couldn't
getting
say
caught up,
it's
choked up,
it's
just
giving when Squidward tries to apologize.
I.
But this actually is a full circle moment for our Kim. So back in 2001, the expected heir to the throne, his eldest half brother, Kim Jong-nam, fell out of favor when he was caught trying to enter Japan on a fake passport to visit Tokyo Disneyland. So from theme parks we come, and to theme parks we
Stop
shall
that.
return.
Oh, Chris. Honestly, but to be fair, if you're thinking, right, it can't possibly get worse if you're going out on an excursion east into a sort of, communist despotic regime that's technically not even communist anymore. Well, it could be. Because you could be the anti-woke Yank who's found himself on the front lines in the Ukraine, Chris. So a man moved to Russia because he was seeing that America was too woke. It's too liberal. America Um,
That's the problem.
and he's now been sent to Ukraine. In August 2024, Putin, Big Vladdy, friend of the show, put
Of
into
course.
law a simplified migration scheme for those living in countries whose policies go against traditional spiritual and moral values, which is
Right.
basically tolerance of people and basic human decency, which is an affront to God, Chris. All these people had to do was sign a written statement rejecting the destructive neoliberal ideology of their home country and commit to live by Russian traditions. Now, I would have no problem writing signing into a written statement critiquing the destructive neoliberal ideology that is pervasive in the West. But I would feel weird doing that to then live in oligarch capital of the world, Moscow. Um, so applicants also didn't, this is very important for what's about to come, have to pass a test on Russian history, Russian law, or even the language.
They still thought
Enter the
the route was open to the ones on ones on Kalmar tourist coastal zone.
exactly. They're thinking this is my ticket to
Yeah,
paradise.
I've got tickets to ride.
Uh, so enter the Huffmans. Derek Huffman signed up for the military after arriving in Russia because he believed that it would be he would be a correspondent or a welder, a non-combat role basically, because that's what he said he was told.
Right.
But his wife Diana complained that this confusion lies in one major issue. Remember those tests to get into the country? Well, the training was conducted in Russian. So lost in translation, we'll say. Um, now, Derek had signed up to expedite the family's citizenship process, claiming that he was doing what immigrants in America don't, which is choosing to serve as a means to earn his place in his new home. Now, it should be noted that immigrants in America can't sign up to the military during peacetime. It was something that George W. Bush had put in to keep recruitment levels high and citizenship applications flowing. But it was actually the first Trump administration who stopped this. Um,
Right.
his fellow anti-woke warrior has actually really scuppered him on this one.
Also, I
Now,
love the idea that Ukraine is the the center of woke, the famously woke country.
famously woke country, the Ukraine. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things that I think for him, it wasn't necessarily going to Ukraine to fight woke. It was more that for him, like Russia was just this perfect paradise where the woke can't touch me. Um, but he did find himself still in an American setup because the Huffmans live in Istra or Istra outside Moscow, in an American village set up by US-born blogger Tim Kirby. Now, Kirby's project was set up in 2024 with authorities giving 30 acres of land, not 30 acres, 30 hectares, sorry, of
Oof.
land to the project because early projections had the residents numbering in the thousands. I believe thousands of people wanted to leave the States and move to Russia. Right now, the village has two houses. There are two families who live in this village, and all the amenities and building costs were on the family. It had to be privately funded. This is because governors in the region have absolutely zero interest in providing any public funds for the village. And banks and private investors in Russia see this project set up by foreigners as something they're unwilling to support or invest in. Worth bringing up at this point that in Huffman's tirades against migrants in the States, he did complain that they also wanted free handouts. it seems it seems that as the family racks up their debts, that these handouts would come in very handy for him. The family have complained that he hasn't yet received a paycheck for any of his work in the military. So the cost of running their own village is starting to get a little bit hefty. Now, for those wanting to keep up with these Yanks abroad, you can check out their YouTube channel, Huffman Time. Uh,
I love how we plugged Huffman time before we plugged our own our
Yeah,
own
yeah,
page.
yeah. Well, I think it has to be seen to believe. It heavily features Derek and Deanna's three young daughters who they brought with them, and their husky baby. But notably, not any of their three sons from their other relationships, who all chose to stay in the United States.
Right.
Um, so you also will not find any of this, as my screen shakes in anticipation. You won't find any of this. Deanna's recent plea for prayers that was featured in a video that she had to take down from the channel um, because basically the family are now realizing that maybe there's a slight error made in their judgment. Uh,
It's going to take more than prayers to fund that village and get that man off the front line.
it's going to take more than prayers to fund that village. Now, Deanna has stated that she is tired of the Kyiv trolls interfering in their personal life, and that she isn't surprised that her husband has joined the army because he always spoke so highly of the country, its president, and its people. And Chris, he has a strong passion for doing the right thing.
Well,
You
that's really
know,
all that
like
matters.
joining the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So maybe I don't feel too bad
Honestly,
about this.
I'm very behind people in America who think that Russia is some anti-woke bastion actually going to Russia. Oh, we've got a guest in the background.
I
Um,
guess in the background there.
um, our first, well, no, our third ever guest, if you count the two boys from the Tuna Bomber musical.
Third ever guest, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the. I think if people want to move to Russia and try and set up their own village with two houses for 1,000 people, was it? 100
Well,
people?
they were thinking thousands of people, but the thing is, the land was there. There was no houses on the land. There was no electricity, no gas, no water. They had to set that all up themselves. So they were saying that thousands of people would come to Russia to engage in the traditional values of Russian life without anything set up for them, bar a big chunk of grass.
Yeah, is there any kind of because they've renounced their citizenship now, haven't they? Is there any returning to the States? They're not going to look kindly on that at customs, having
Well,
been through US customs.
yeah, they might struggle to get through customs.
Mm.
Ultimately, I think there seems to be a conflicting thing where they're probably going to stay in Russia. It's harder now to leave than it is to stay. And also, they don't know what's going to come in this next situation. We've spoken actually about Russia before in this show with their uh, fertility crisis and the
Yes,
idea that they're now rapidly running out of blokes. And we came up with
because
our
of
Sex and the City
because yeah.
reboot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because of Carrie, there's no kids. But we came up with
Isn't
our
that the
Sex and
plot
the
of the
City
show?
reboot set in Russia. Yeah, yeah, where she's
Yeah.
in Russia, in and out of prison, trying to find blokes before
Oh
they
yeah.
get shipped off to the Ukraine. They have lost 1 million men, I believe.
Oh, the
So
Russians.
it is, yeah, it is a crazy time to send off a Yank there now. But I know there's also another American who is posing as a missionary in Ukraine to spy on them. He got Russian citizenship in the recent years. There's a lot of like very dubious Americans. But it seems to me that like the Huffmans in particular, uh, like everything Derek and Deanna say, I kind of feel a bit uncomfortable about. But I feel just worse for the kids. They've
Oh,
got three very young daughters who
you've
they
got
have
like
moved to the other side of the world to
yeah.
avoid woke.
You've got like family
Like what?
YouTube, which is bad enough,
Yeah,
like shoving a camera in your daughter's face, but then you've got whatever this is the worst case of it I've ever
Russian
heard.
propaganda family YouTube. Yeah, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very rare breed. Um, Now I'm hoping in this situation when you look at the outlet of it and the lay of the land, that what it will be is kind of a warning for people to look at and go, as much as it pains me to not say slurs and be horrible to people, and to maybe, just maybe, confront the complicated history of my home nation, I, I don't want to die in the Ukraine. It's also really funny that these people were also likely the ones, bearing in mind they've moved to Russia, they say how much they love Putin, how much they love all these other things. They're the ones who, when they were stateside, would be the ones critiquing America for being remotely involved in the Ukraine. And now they're an American fighting on the Ukrainian front lines.
Yeah, exactly. I think what the past couple of years have thrown to sharp relief is that left and right is really like on basically no issues is it as simple as that dichotomy.
No, 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 no. Uh, even down to like if you want to point to like economic values and different things, it's so confusing.
Yeah.
It's so confusing, and you're going to get nowhere with it. But I think one thing that always unifies people, Chris, is a good concert, a good gig. You know, I mean,
We've been to good gigs recently, haven't we, Matty?
we had our Stevie Wonder gig
Yeah.
with the chatting Scousers behind us.
He looked a bit Soviet actually, a bit in his robe and his hat.
There was something Soviet about our boy Stevie. but I do feel like, especially being Manx in recent times, the big concert that's been unifying the peoples is probably the absolute craziness of the Oasis gigs. And there are many stories we can talk about there.
Yeah.
But I actually think that we've got to go back further. If we're talking about reunions, what better and more cosmic, miraculous reunion can you have than Elvis and the land of the living? Uh,
Yeah,
but just
Elvis is body and Elvis is soul.
Yeah, but how exactly can this come about? Well, the super VIPs of the Elvis Evolution experience feel they were misled after the show they paid £300 for, which is double what we paid for Stevie Wonder, wasn't fit for a king, we shall say.
Oh, how
Now,
come?
well, the experience was originally marketed as using AI and feature holographic technology of the star to create a life-size digital Elvis who will perform iconic moments in musical history. Sounds great. Sounds like ABBA Voyage. However, Layered Reality, the team behind the experience, pivoted completely from this. Completely from this. Between the show's announcement in January 2024 and the release of the tickets in October 2024, the decision was made to not feature holographic Elvis at all. You know, the whole basis of the show. Um, because they believed that that all the moments proved to be too iconic and irreplaceable. So instead, we use AI to upscale archive footage and in moments we know happened, but when no footage existed.
Is that like him singing Rick and Morty time?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
And
well,
all the
well.
different variations of Elvis across TikTok. No, but I think that the what this translates to loosely is that they offered something that they had no idea how to execute, um, and have decided to pivot to basically just AI slop. So if you were expecting an ABBA Voyage-esque show for the 75 to £300 you spent on the show, um, you'd be disappointed. And Layered Reality have said the feedback they've received has been overwhelming, but in a good way. See,
Oh,
people have described it as fun, immersive, and unlike anything they've seen before. Well,
it's the one Sam Calmack tourist coastal zone.
exactly. Although one couple have been very vocal, and a few like them, in fact, when they said that it is something that you could see at a local theatre for £30. That's because instead of this sort of immersive kind of experience, the show instead uses staging to replicate things like Elvis's dressing room, the NBC studio where his reunion gig took place, um, and a live band for the show rather than a holographic Elvis.
Right.
Um, but all of that seems to sell this very local theatre argument. So Mark and Tracy Baldwin are the couple in question, and they said they were left feeling more like mugs than VIPs after the show was a shambles from start to finish and was nothing more than footage you could find on YouTube. This is the thing with AI upscaling. It's basically just putting it through like a HD model that has existed as an AI for a very long time. But now we have like generative AI as this sort of like hotbed topic.
Yeah.
All this was various stages and even interactive bars with sort of Elvis cutouts and different things. And it sounds like when I describe it to you, like the Willy Wonka experience in Glasgow. It wasn't that. It's nicer than that. But if you've ever been to one of those shows where it's like, speaking of, as we'll come to later, the Edinburgh Fringe, when you ever go to one of those shows where it's talking about the life of an artist, like basically a biopic in theatrical form, and you have someone singing their songs, and they might have like acted out scenarios, and like, oh, there's like newspapers on the screens and stuff showing you what year it is and what's going on. It's that kind of thing, except they charge 300 quid for it. Um, and the idea is that with the bars, it becomes multi-sensory. While comparisons only get in the way of seeing the show as engaging with Elvis in a bold and meaningful way. And if this all sounds like corporate nonsense, it absolutely is.
Well, the multi-sensory, like, are you going to smell the peanut butter, bacon, and banana sandwiches?
Smell-o-vision for the
Yes.
for the heart attack bunch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Layered Reality have responded purely to the public in exclusively marketing speak. It's this hollow and insipid kind of variety of PR where
Mirroring
they're
the show,
so
perhaps.
mirroring the show. The so-called cutting edge technology is nowhere to be seen. Ultimately, they've overpromised and underdelivered. Um, there were also further complaints of a lack of warning for those with photosensitive epilepsy, or at least that said warnings were buried in the FAQs on the website. But I mean, hey, there were reports on Facebook, reviews saying the majority of people were having fun. So who cares about the epileptics, Chris? Everyone else is
Exactly.
having a great time.
God, they're a really loud, a really vocal minority, aren't they, those epileptics?
Really vocal minority. But again, look, a handful of people having fun. Does it sound like that much? Well, not really. Because let's look at what the critics have said. I know the
Right.
Telegraph gave it a 1-star review. There's been a few others, like City AM gave it like 4 stars. Like, all right, it's great. The best review I've seen so far was when Time Out gave it a 3-star review.
Oh,
And
that's
they
all
put
right.
it best. Well, yeah, they put it best. And they said the concert is enjoyable once you accept it for what it is. But there's really no amount of champagne that you can placate a super VIP with after they've spent £300 on a concert that is fine once you accept it for what it is. I feel like the £75 yeomanry folk who turned up and sat in whatever the cheap seats were and enjoyed themselves, it's easier. But when you sell a luxury experience and you deliver nothing, it's a bit of a shame. Tracy Baldwin claimed that the show had exploited older people and had taken the couple for fools by scamming them with a technology they don't understand. And I think in the age of AI, in the age of generative AI, and in all this sort of new buzzword technology, where it seems like people are able to really make these big projects on the cheap, um, you're going to start to see a lot more exhibitions and experiences quite like this one, wherein I think people are going to be sold something that the people in charge really don't know how to handle.
Yeah, I mean, accept only enjoyable once you accept it for what it is. Also, when it's what it is an excuse to deprive the global south of drinking water. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
What is it burning down half the Amazon to make a terrible rendition of Tennessee? Just go. Just
yeah.
go.
So our next story takes us back across the pond, to the wonderful world of big law. And a summer associate has been fired from an elite Manhattan law firm for allegedly biting multiple co-workers.
What?
So, a summer associate at the New York office of prestigious law firm Sidley Austin has been nicknamed the Big Law Biter. Sidley Austin, it's where the Obamas met each other. It's a pretty prestigious law firm.
Fair
Um,
enough.
and depending on the source, depending on who you ask, she bit between 5 and 12 people. And it wasn't an isolated incident. She was at this all summer.
Of
So-
course, it wasn't nice. 5 to 12. First of all, that's too big a range. It's
it
too big
wasn't
a range.
it
You should
wasn't a
know.
single spree. I've heard,
Continue.
yeah, I've heard 5, I've heard 10, I've heard more than 10, I've heard 12. Um, and the abovethelaw.com article, which first reported it, which is like a legal blog, said if you're in NYC for the summer, if you want to get your kicks by biting people, there's there's more consensual ways to do it. Get me there. And
Let's hop on the plane, Chris. Off we go across the Atlantic.
as it's now July, the big law biter must have survived at least 2 months. The blog post says it's unclear why so many people let this go before reporting the big law biter, but the rumor is that she's otherwise personable and there was some reluctance to elevate the matter. Uh,
I mean, she's great. She's getting these deals across the line. I mean, like the documentation is fantastic. Her attention to detail is great. It's just the biting, man.
yeah, there's some people I've met that like they are the some of the best people like to get on with. They're
Yeah.
great. They get all the stuff in on time. If they bit between 5 and 12 people, you'd be more inclined to let them go. Whereas some people bite one, you want them out the door.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just waiting for that first bite from some people.
So Reb Marcel, who's an attorney with a big like TikTok following, spilled more. So she said, in the very beginning, they have an icebreaker round table with everybody, all the other summer associates, the partners at the law firm, the people you're going to be working with. And during her fun facts, the biter's fun facts, she said, "I enjoy biting people."
She's laid it out on the
He
table.
wasn't even trying to hide it. A post from an account on Twitter and a faceless account at that. So take this with a bit of a pinch of salt, because some other people have come out and said this is not true. Apparently, she bit at least 10 people over the course of the summer, including summer associates, and an HR person. Then that's not
You
resulting
can't
in a
bite
fine.
HR. Of all the people to bite, HR is like number one list of don't bite
I
HR.
like to think she got called into HR and they're like, so people said you've been biting people, and then she was like, yeah, like this.
I just want to talk to you about your fun fact the other night. We've had some just like people kind of saying, "With we wonder if you were joking or not." It's like, does this feel real to you, Janice?
You're number 10. I'll bite more. And it was
I'll
such a
bite
repeated
again.
thing, apparently, that one of her office mates started wearing long sleeved shirts.
In New York in the summer, that's a real sacrifice as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Oh,
Separately,
mate.
apparently, this girl also went to dinner with a group of partners and associates and ordered a $2,000 bottle of wine. And this apparently came up in her termination meeting as demonstrating poor judgment. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that was the poor judgment.
To be fair, like if you're hanging out with like eccentric law geniuses, the one thing they should at least be is frugal.
Yeah, if law, a big law famous for frugality. Not really famous for biting people, which I'm
No, no,
could
no. I
turn the
mean,
tide.
it's the USP.
It is indeed.
Look at my
Perhaps
lawyer, dog. I'm going to jail.
look at my lawyer, dog, literally. Um, apparently, this X account also alleges she's a horse girl who says "rawr" regularly. It's all fitting into place. She's now laying low at a Holiday Inn in Maryland, which, like, I don't think is on the
Hang on, hang
book.
on, hang on. Wait. Did you just call Maryland? Maryland?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
No,
Yeah,
it's Maryland.
it's Maryland. That's how the Americans say it.
They don't call it Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland.
Maryland.
All right, fine, Maryland. Then we're both pissed off. Leave it in the comments. As someone commented online, imagine racking up $170,000 worth of law school loans, several thousand for bar exams, passing the exam, and character and fitness just to get fired within 2 months.
Yeah,
Because she did get
yeah.
no offered, unfortunately. Other comments speculated that she must be an attractive woman, and it must have been men that she was biting for her to be able to get away with it for so long. I can see that being the most likely scenario.
I
If some
I
men are
feel,
like, I'm kind of into this, because men don't sometimes they fail to think with this
but she's
knowledge.
also a horse girl who says "rar." So how attractive can she be?
You'd be surprised.
You take off her glasses and it's just
Yeah, she tossed her hair around like a
plus
maid.
her hair back. But I also think that she could very well just be a kind of little freaky deaky, and then
You
everyone was
think?
like, well, yeah. But I'm just thinking that like they're like, well, she's a little weird, but we like having her around because she's kind of she's funny,
Yeah,
She's kind of a little nerdy kind of or whatever. They
she's
don't
bit me three
mind her.
times, but I kind of like the attention.
Yeah, yeah, I'll take it.
It's not the like people have been so she was no offered, obviously. People have done worse in the past and not been no offered. So the most famous story is maybe Aqua Girl, who was a summer associate who jumped into the Hudson River at a charity benefit in nothing but her underwear and had to be arrested, not arrested, sorry, had to be rescued by, depending on the version of the story, the NYPD or the Coast Guard, and she still got an offer.
So it's really hard. I mean, to be fair, that's kind of like
Apparently, back in the day, it was much
that's just
harder to
some
be
good
no offered.
drunken debauchery. Biting 5 to 12 people is, including HR.
Yeah, they're both kind of annoying, but only one leaves marks.
True, true, true,
Yeah.
true, true, true. Have you ever been
Um,
bitten before, Chris?
have I been bitten? Yes, I have. I was bitten at primary school by this guy's little brother, who he just went around and he was just famous for like drooling all the time. He bit me through my blazer.
I got bit pure in the arm by one of my sister's friends when we were little kids.
Oh,
The
w-
mark and
w-
everything.
were you being a little shit? Were you asking for it?
I, right. Oh, he was asking for it. What was he
And
wearing? Why was he wearing short sleeves?
and I know that you're
Problem, Chris.
I know that your sister's had a career across the pond. Has her friend also gone into big law by any chance?
Well, like, we don't know. We lost track of her, so we'll see. Maybe big biter,
One
Mancunian origins.
one last online comment said, "I want that girl to be my lawyer. To be able to survive termination until 12 chomps shows crazy skill."
She can negotiate her way out of anything.
I
Let me
think
tell you.
so. That's like dream team level lawyering.
Yeah, and also we said it before, but you want your lawyer to have a bit of dog in him, you know?
Yeah, you do exactly.
And for puns like that, do you know where you can go, Chris?
Ooh, new
Every year
sensation.
without fail, you can come to New Sensation, or you can go to the Edinburgh Fringe Best Joke Award. Ah, brought to you by you and Dave, as in the two TV channels that merged into an unholy monstrosity in the age of streamers. Um, but for years now, it's been the case that every single year you get a pun-filled list of what have been the best jokes of the year at the Edinburgh Fringe, and unanimously the entire country goes, I mean, really?
It's the worst advert for the Fringe ever. It just makes me like you've been to the Fringe
I've been to the Fringe.
to watch. I've had mates who've and you have mates as well who've been to the Fringe to perform.
Yeah.
That all looks fantastic, but you see this list and you just close the train line app. Like it looks awful.
Well, this is the thing. So the Fringe is a very broad, by design, festival. There's so many different things going on, so many different comedians, so many different things. So it's very strange that there has been for the last, I think, about 17 years, an award that's literally joke of the Fringe, best best joke.
Yeah.
Um,
You would think
Now I
that
think there's
that would
one
be
hanging here.
amazing, wouldn't you, with all those comedians? Because they come from everywhere in one place. You think the joke would be the pinnacle.
You think it'd be pinnacle? Here's one from a couple of years ago.
Right.
This was the 2023 winner, um, by comedian Lorna Rose Treen. I started dating a zookeeper, but it turned out he was a cheater.
Oh God.
Best joke. Oh,
If
are you
that's the best
kidding?
joke of your set, you need to you need to throw that
You
on in the
you need
bin.
to rewrite the set. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so there have been some good ones. I mean, if you go, you can find the whole list. And I mean, I can see the merit. For example, Stuart Francis, who I believe is incredible for this. I have his book, Pun Direction, and if we had the stack, he would be on it today for this very reason. But I've
Yeah.
seen Stuart Francis at the Fringe, and I thought his show was marvelous. But in 2012, he won Best Joke with, you know who really gives kids a bad name? Posh and Becks.
That's at least that's good.
It's a great
Like
joke. It's well
no,
structured.
not to break it down all David Mitchell style, but there's no way a cheater would obtain a job as a zookeeper and then deceive a woman into.
You
But
see,
that is funny. That second one.
you've immediately improved the joke. So if you're wondering why they're not doing the joke anymore, uh, or the award anymore, there's no real reason actually.
It's probably no appetite for it, I'd imagine.
Well, kind of. So a statement from UK TV, who own you and Dave, said that it was originally created to celebrate and spotlight grassroots comedy talent. And as our commissioning focus evolves, we're taking the opportunity to reflect on how we continue to support comedy in the best way possible. Now, what this is partially doing is kind of a pivot. So
Right.
rather than the structure of it being this best joke at the fringe kind of format, where I presume most of it comes from going to the show, um, they are basically there's a new award kind of filling in the gaps. So within hours of the announcement that it was ending, the production company Need to Know Comedy announced that it was reviving its Some Guy Called Dave Award. See what I did there? Because it's Dave Award and then Some Guy Called Dave Award,
Yeah.
um, which was previously held during the pandemic, where of course there was no fringe, which called for fringe acts to email 5 one-liners from their show, with the winner receiving £250. So they're reviving that for this year in the absence of the Best Joke Award. But it's left a complicated legacy. We brought it up on the show. I mean, you said to me, I want to talk about it because we both have a contempt for this award.
Yeah.
And with such bangers as this one, it's no wonder why. Rob Alton in 2013, I heard a rumor that Cadbury is bringing out an Oriental chocolate bar. Already, 2013, you want to probably pivot from that
Yeah.
language. It could be a Chinese whisper. Chinese whispers, Chinese.
It's better than the cheetah one,
It's better than
but
cheating.
yeah, of the whole fringe as well. I love the what's funnier to me than all these jokes is the fact that UK TV released a statement being like, "We regret to inform you," as if they've had like a John Tyrone and Greg Wallace style PR disaster. You're just retiring an award that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there is also right. We'll get to this as we go on.
go on.
I just remembered what the 2008 winner was, and we're gonna have to build up to it. To
Okay,
start with, the award does have its positive merits. Now, the winner in 2024, I believe, is the last winner of the award, was Mark Simmons, who won for his one-liner, which I quite enjoy.
right.
I was going to sail around the globe in the world's smallest ship, but I bottled it. Lovely, fun, little joke, cracker joke, great. Now, he was saying that upon winning the prize, it was something that he really, really appreciated. One, because it's a good award, but also he needed some good news because he was fired from his job at marking exam papers and he can't understand it. He always gave 110%. Get a grip, Mark.
I'm not a
Get a grip.
fan. I'm not a fan of this
I'm a fan.
guy.
So this is the thing, like technically as well, the award does have its merits. It gives a comedian their place in the spotlight. So even if they
Sure.
haven't just been sacked from their job at AQA, you can work around it. There are times when the award has a very dubious reputation. Now, in 2008, which if you go
Right.
on like the wiki of the award, the first one, 2008, Zoe Lyons wrote the joke and said in public, I can't believe Amy Winehouse self-harms. She's so irritating, she must be able to find someone to do it for her.
In terms of pure construction, that
No, no, Chris. Wait.
but
The issue
like
is, as a diabolically
very
mean, like it's a
distasteful.
good joke.
It also shows the way the country's moved.
Yeah, because do you want to know what won in 2009?
Yeah.
Dan Antopolsky, the very next year, penned hedgehogs. Why can't they just share the hedge?
Yeah.
What is it?
The BBCification.
Yeah, so from that point onwards, from 2009 onwards, there's a very clear pivot in what the best joke at the Fringe was,
Right.
um, which basically has been a fairly well-designed pun or one-liner to suit an interest, rather than a stupid, poorly constructed, and mean statement. Because bullying isn't always funny, always. So Tim Vine has dominated; he's won it a couple of times. But ultimately, what you're looking at is an award that, as the Fringe goes into basically starting up next week, 1st of August, will we be sorely missing it? I don't know. It was a good way to spotlight a good pun. But I think when it comes to it, who has the last laugh? The British public, who every year doesn't have to be reminded that really cheesy one-liners are somehow, for some people, still in fashion, myself included. Now, Chris.
Well, speaking of things that give the nation comfort that we might be might be seeing our last of this week. From
That's
Friday,
awful.
if you want to watch porn, you'll need to get your ID out because major adult sites across the UK are introducing advanced age checks from Friday. So Ofcom, who somehow has the jurisdiction to regulate porn sites but not podcasts, um, have recommended seven.
And glad we are of it. But
We're very glad. Sometimes we blur the line between porn site and podcast. Recommend seven different methods of age verification to choose from. So there's the classic ones. There's credit card, digital ID card, mobile phone network operator age checks. Sorry, I said the usual ones. That is weird. Getting Tesco Mobile to at like
Yo,
11
Vodafone,
p.m. at
help me
night.
out here, brother. Come on.
Their inbox is blowing up. Photo ID matching, checking with your bank, and then my two personal favorites. First one is email-based age estimation. So you provide your email address, and technology analyzes other online services where it's been used, such as banking and utility providers, to estimate
Right.
your age. Which, I mean, I'm sure we're going to see 15-year-olds across the country deleting their Snapchat subscription and signing up to things like, I don't know, Experian and the Martin Martin Lewis money saving newsletter.
See, I would have been fine as a teenager because
You would have been
old
so
old
fine.
soul, bro, old soul. I would have been sorted.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're seeing a Club Penguin subscription in there, it's like sort yourself out. Um,
Dubious.
RIP Club Penguin. All right, well, RIP Pornhub come Friday. Um, other adult sites are available. Uh, always
We're not making that off comp. You don't have to do that. We just
have,
talk.
oh yes, very true. Always have a trusted adult with you in the room. Matter of fact, put the phone down and facial age estimation is the second method, which may be a good deterrent because the last thing I want to see is my own guilty face.
Just like,
Um, and it's not just our orange-colored enterprise which responds to the news. Pornhub does too. So after the CEO of Astronomer was caught on kiss cam with his chief people officer at Coldplay concert, you will need no introduction to this story.
no, no, we
It's
all know.
been it's been like the Epstein files. It's been pervasive, and
Oops.
somehow
No.
avoided mention on this podcast thus far. But Pornhub searches after this affair relating to cheating and affair have skyrocketed. So people saw that and got out the tissues as a nation, which I find it's like when there's a national disaster, the people switching the kettle on goes through the roof.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So cheating couple as a search term is up 31%, followed by cheating husband and secret affair. We've got a nice graph here. You see, it literally has skyrocketed. It's the only thing the astronomer CEO will be making skyrocket from now on. So Matty, without looking at our lovely script,
Okay.
see if you can guess which organization is siding with the masturbators.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Well,
Coming out
I'm thinking
against this verification
The
woke
Church
nonsense.
of Scientology is definitely out.
Yeah, no, they want to
Medi
be able to view through your webcam.
yeah, Médecins Sans Frontières. No. Um. Okay. Nestle.
You're close. They were responsible for the cream egg, but no, Wikipedia. So
Actually,
it's
Nestle weren't responsible for cream egg, were they? That's a Cadbury product, Chris. I
who's
don't
to
mean
say?
to
No,
blow up
I'm,
what was a very good quip, but
I'm willing to concede that one.
we're
Maryland,
dedicated to
however.
facts on this show, unlike Wikipedia. Continue.
You will have noticed that I when I get things wrong or when Matty gets things wrong, I put a lovely fact check in the description. So we're automatically better than 90% of news outlets. Um,
And Wikipedia for that matter. But tell me why they're involved in all this.
well, the Wikimedia Foundation, who run Wikipedia, has said the government's online safety bill, where these regulations in the UK come from, would require Wikipedia to restrict underage users from encountering unacceptable content amidst its millions of pages of educational material. So, according to James Baker, that's grassroots activism manager for Open Rights Group, not former classic bedtime drummer. Um,
Okay.
Sexual advice and LGBT plus charities are blocked by some internet service providers for the mere mention of words to do with sex and gender, even if they're in a
Oh,
non-erotic context. So if you get your kicks from Wikipedia, from searching, I don't know, sex or penis, then,
you can find some good
or,
stuff on
or
there.
you love just looking at Greek erotic vases, then you'll want to oppose these regulations. So from Friday, if it's eye candy you want to see, then check out our TikTok at
News sensation pod.
and our Instagram at.
News sensation.
And if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, please do hit subscribe. We've seen our fan base grow to more than just the people in mine and Matty's respective kitchens, so we're very thankful for that.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
do hit subscribe.
And past former members of Classic Bedtime, including James Baker. So
We have indeed. Reunion gig, 100 subscribers, I think.
it's in the books. It's in the book.
And if you want to send us a story or just get in touch about anything at all, you can email us at newssensationpod@gmail.com. That's
Newsensationpod@gmail.com.
I've been Chris Patel.
He's been Chris Patel. And
Uh,
Just sweet Matty Curry signing off. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next week for more strange and sensational stories.